this year that the church has set aside, specifically as a Jubilee year, it could look different for me. And I could start to make practical choices to, maybe just give a break to certain things that I exhaust, like you're talking about the soil. But just really looking at it as a reset and just inviting the Lord, how do I set my eyes or set my focus on the things you want me to set my eyes and focus on?
Poco a poco vamos a llegar. Somos peregrinos and you know that's who we are. We make our way. Hey, hey.
Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary.
Hey, I'm Father PT.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Father Angel's here.
Spiritual warfare, bro. Everything's breaking around here.
You guys need to honor that. It's a crazy week.
Father Angelus talked about how there's been a lot of things breaking, everything's falling apart. He used the phrase,
I'm not an
part of it.
I'm not an over spiritual guy. I'm not, but I feel like
you threw it in there, and then you pulled out a drawer and knocked it all over and said, "Okay, is it spiritual warfare?" Or...
And people who know me, I'm not an over spiritualizing guy.
Yeah,
just saying.
That's just funny. The timing of this thing breaking, or is it already broken?
I don't know. I don't remember that well.
Happy
New Year, everybody.
Happy New
It's a
Year.
new year.
Blue on blue violence happening here. Blue and blue. What are you? That's when in a military situation that you're firing upon your own people.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
But like you're seemingly potentially there's an enemy, a spiritual enemy breaking your printer, but potentially you're just, who's the guy from Of Mice and Men?
George?
The guy who hurts the animal in his pocket.
I think it's George, right?
I think George is Leon. Who's the other guy?
I don't know. I didn't mean to kill it. Right?
Yeah.
I have never seen that movie. I don't have any clue what you're talking about.
It's a book. It's a very famous book.
It's a book.
I did no, but there was like a very.
I think
famous,
George and Leon.
Yeah,
and I think Leon is the big guy.
I didn't mean to do it, George.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you know he's big?
I think part of the character.
It's literally a book that describes the people the same way I know any of their names or anything that happens is the same way I know he's big.
Which is amazing for you. You don't particularly pay details.
Did you hear me say I don't really remember his name?
Yeah, but you're throwing out Leon like he's your buddy.
I think it's Leon, but Steinbeck, was that? Is that the guy?
John Steinbeck.
There you go.
Who wrote it?
Right, that's who wrote it.
Sure.
Welcome to the. I'm trying to think. We need to have a new catch line. Welcome to the Poco podcast.
Mm-hmm. I said
there's an I in faith, but not in podcast.
Because Father Innocent's not here.
I'll say there's no I. There's no I in Poco.
There's no I in Poco. There's no I in New Year's. There's no I in Happy New Year's.
There's no I in a lot of things. And he's not here. This will be the last week, right?
This will be the, maybe, who knows? This is a new territory. This is a new age.
We don't know what's going on. We don't know what his deal is.
Poco AI.
The people of God will store him the castle.
Ooh.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by whenever the first episode,
they'll rebel.
The 12th, there's gonna be outlash,
already
outcry.
If it happens again, maybe we just do a series without you wearing glasses
and just give people assurance that he's here.
Yeah.
We could hold up a picture.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Happy feast day, Father Angelus.
Oh, thank you.
Happy feast
I forgot
day.
about that.
Today's the Solemnity of the Mother of God, which is
the day.
Father Angelus' feast day.
And Father Innocent.
Yeah.
Correct.
But that's strange. Why'd you guys pick that feast day?
I think we wanted to celebrate a day together because we celebrated our birthdays. And so we were like Our Lady's neutral territory away from Blessed Innocent and Father St. Angelus. So neutral.
Spend a day together or celebrate a day together. Ironic. He's not here.
He's not here.
So just want to know.
And we're never together on that day. Ever. For like 15 years we haven't been together.
Really?
Because we're all gone.
Yeah,
like, he's at this and I'm at that. And
are you going to Seek this year? You don't. Oh, sorry. I don't remember. You go to NST or you go to NET. Net.
Go to net, but I'm also on my sabbatical.
It's sabbatical Sam.
Oh, sabbatical Sam. Everyone, take a good look at Father Angelus. Actually, he'll be here on the next recording day.
I will.
Yeah, I won't be here next recording day.
Why?
Because we set up the dates without talking to him.
Yeah,
because he wasn't here.
and I just so people understand that it's not like I choose not to be here. There are previous things that are scheduled, and I get the dates, and I can't move those things that are previously scheduled. Yeah. So hopefully we'll be better about this in the future. Collaboratively,
we can adapt the spring
collaboratively. Oh, we have spring dates already.
Since we've entered a new age, do
maybe
you guys just want to set the dates today, and then we'll send it to Father Innocent and see what he can do?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You were going to say something? No. Don't you not like people taking random feast days?
I don't. I have very strong opinions about that. I think they're reformed in me by Father Glenn, because our class, there's 17 of us or 15 of us made vows, but like, and I, if there's a connection, okay, but
my middle name's Immaculata.
Yeah. So like, for example, Father Stephen takes Our Lady, I don't know if he still does, but Our Lady of Prom Succor.
Yeah.
Because it's a big devotion down in New Orleans, right?
Prompt sucker. That's how they say it, right?
Do they? I don't know, but it's Prom Succor. Yeah. I think. And so, but to Father Glenn and his like he doesn't know this. He's like, I don't know the date. I'm just making up a date here for her feast day. It's like, wait, well, why are you taking this date? Like, January 28th. And so I guess explain it. So I'm okay with that, but some people take like the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Like, okay, it's a devotion. Is it really like if your Father Margaret Mary, Alaque.
Wow.
Okay. Sacred Heart, that makes more sense. But to me, like it just makes sense to have your feast day be on the day that your saint died, or like it's their day.
Is yours on his feast day?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the day that Pierre Toussaint passed away, June 30th. Or like.
So I can't do St. Angelus. Why? Tell me.
It's 31st.
Tell me why we can't celebrate that day.
And we typically do fasting.
No, we don't typically. It's one of the only ones in our constitutions that says to be fast that day.
Which day?
October 31st, Halloween.
Yeah.
That's the reason I didn't do that day, because the entire community is fasting. Constitutionally, we have to fast that day. It's not like hey, let's fast another day.
Okay.
Let's do something different.
On Halloween, we fast for sins committed by the occult.
Which is great.
In reparation.
But that was really funny. I was like, well, I'm not going to take this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what about your baptismal day? That's pretty important.
Me and Father Innocent could have celebrated that together.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But we decided to go with Our Lady.
Yeah.
Why? I think Our Lady's pleased with it, don't you?
Look.
And they both got Mary in their name. I think Mary feast days are totally fair game.
Where does the line end, though? Like, so I could just take whatever
Marian feast days,
whatever I want.
I actually don't.
So here's the thing where, okay, I love Our Lady of Fatima, so I'm gonna take May 13th, which is like the first. Is that actually her feast day, Our Lady of Fatima?
I don't remember.
But there's days where like she appeared, and so like that can mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? Like, and so like because it's attached to Our Lady, which is great. But I just feel like this thing could just get unwieldy. And next thing you know, you're taking random days.
Can I say something completely random to you?
1, 2,
is that okay?
3 pretzels. Okay, Go ahead.
We have
I like that.
A priest from Europe, protect his identity. Priest from Europe here, kind of on a little bit of a discernment visit, and he arrived and he started talking at dinner. Started talking about a church that he just visited where Mark of Aviano was buried.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool. I was like, hey, it's kind of neat.
That's you.
That's you.
Mark of Aviano is my patron, for those who don't know.
And you take the Feast of Our Lady, right?
Of the Assumption.
The Assumption.
How do you feel about that whole thing?
See, that one's okay. So there's a logic behind it. So your full name is Mark Mary Maximilian.
Correct.
Right. And the feast days are August 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Correct.
So Mark of Aviano is August 13th. Maximilian is August 14th.
Yeah.
And then Our Lady, the Feast of the Assumption is 15th.
Yeah.
So like there's an inner logic there where, okay, like it could have fallen any one of these days and you chose Our Lady.
But if I took Our Lady of Sorrows, which is my original idea.
I hit the buzzer on that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
I don't care that much.
That's checks out
about this thing. So.
That's why you're going to be the novice master someday.
Who?
Or you can be the postulon director, and then you can help people pick their feast days.
Wow. We need to stop giving people jobs. That's all I got to say.
Don't look at me. I'm not the one on leadership. You guys are the ones giving people jobs.
That's oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what we brought you here to talk to you, counselor.
I'm not in the room, bro.
Oh,
You're in
no.
the room.
Oh no. It's
All we ever have are consultative votes on anything.
Mm.
You have
My
real
whole
votes.
life is a consultative vote.
Tell me more about that story, man.
Story, man.
Story coach.
Story coach.
But Happy New
Story
Year's
coach.
once again. I don't know what people are doing today. Hopefully it's just a chill day at the house.
I'm so glad we're not talking
Oh.
about I'm so glad we're not talking about New Year's resolutions.
Whoa. Okay. Well, you can just take it easy over there.
Wait, why'd you give me a look when I said hopefully it's a chill day at the house?
It was funny. It was a funny. It was a funny thing to say.
I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, generally I hope every day is a chill day at the house, but yeah,
Bro, every day is chill day for you at the house.
it's true.
It's not that true. You do stuff.
I do stuff, but
Can I? Okay, we're gonna get into the episode,
okay.
but I will say something funny.
Please.
Is I was hearing confessions for the Sister of Life at their retreat house. Originally, you said you were going to come that weekend. It was
Yes.
a different weekend.
It was the next weekend.
So anyway, you came up and I was talking with some of the team, whatever. And I said, yeah, he can come. Because you're still going, you're still faithful. And I'm not at any Sister of Life convents during the week. You're still going. And I said, yeah, but he has not, he literally has nothing else going on. He's totally free. And they believed it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, well, no. Just so that was a joke. He's the counselor and he's in charge of a house and he's in charge of a youth center and he's in charge of a house. He has a lot going on.
Yeah, that's funny.
They believed it.
I guess that's the way I present myself. Yeah, I'm always available.
Yeah, it's
So-
good. It's good. That's probably the right thing.
Well, thank you for defending me. I would have done the opposite. If it came up you're in my situation,
Yeah.
and I came up once, and you're always doing stuff, I'm like, yeah, he could do that because he's not doing anything, but you're actually doing stuff, and they believed it. I just would have left it. I wouldn't have come to your honor. I just yeah, yeah, that's right. He doesn't do anything, so you're just a good man.
Thanks. You know what else is good and affects men? Hope.
I thought we were gonna sell a hair product. Okay, hope.
And we hope that you like this podcast and can support it by going to spiritjuice.com/Poco Poco. Thank you.
Nice.
Also, if you want to get a rosary I designed really with help, you can go to chooselife.com.
You have an example
Pray
of
with
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have examples of
I've
rosary.
given away all my rosaries. Looking for one.
I tend to
Like-
do that as well.
Like that? The ones
Is
that
that one you can carry in your pocket?
Yeah, it's a small one. It's 1 decade. This is not it.
Oh,
This is the Ascension rosary.
well, that's
Do you
nice.
want that? Do you want it?
let me see that.
It feels nice. Got a nice weight to it.
It's a little heavy.
Lightweight.
It's nice. Thanks.
Gains never sleep.
Does it clink?
No.
Does it make
I mean,
noise?
I
Did
don't.
you say? What did you just say?
Gains never sleep.
Gains?
Gains. Muscle gains, like working out gains. I have a heavy rosary.
Wow.
Gains never sleep.
Do you ever say Ames never sleeps?
No, because I do sleep.
Okay.
I need to sleep. Slept great last night.
Slept here. That was great.
Yeah.
So happy about this conversation.
So here's what I learned while on the radio.
What were you on Hot 97?
Tell me.
That's a hip hop station here in New York, but please.
As of January 1st, 2025, today we begin a Jubilee year in the church,
Yes, we do.
which, let me just say a little bit about a Jubilee year.
Yeah. What is a Jubilee year?
The idea of a Jubilee year, at least in Catholicism, began in the year 1300.
Tell me more.
I don't know a ton more.
You push me past the place of I feel comfortable sharing now. It's like the test that you take the oral exams. I was like, okay, great. Can you
I
tell me
told
more
the
about
story of you making fun of or rejecting Louder 4 last night at dinner to Brother Francois.
that? Oh man.
Okay.
So,
In the Hebrew tradition,
you got something.
as recorded in Leviticus, a Jubilee was celebrated every 50 years with the freeing of slaves and forgiveness of debts. In the year 1300, Pope Boniface VIII instituted the first Christian Jubilee. And since then, the church has designated each Jubilee as a special year of grace and forgiveness, offering the faithful an opportunity to obtain a plenary indulgence. So, from my understanding, actually, it was originally called for by people who were pilgrims, and they wanted I think they wanted an indulgence. So they started 1300s. They started this Jubilee year. And then it used to be every 100 years. And now it's every 25 years. So the year 2025, multiple of 25. Those are the ordinary ones. There was an extraordinary year of Jubilee, which was like the year of mercy. But anyway, and the Jubilee comes from the name of an instrument, the yobel, the ram's horn used by Jews in biblical times to proclaim the Day of Atonement, also known as Yom Kippur. I got that all from the internet somewhere, so I just read somebody else's stuff.
Wikipedia?
No, I don't. I try not to use some maybe Catholic news agency or something. So
Okay.
Anyway, you got some stuff. So this is the Jubilee year of hope, and I think it's called Pilgrims. No, well, the Jubilee year is entitled in English, "Hope Does Not Disappoint," or in Latin,
Go ahead, hit it.
best known confundit.
I think that's the way you pronounce it. Not
Nice
that
one.
Hope does not disappoint.
That's the
So
way.
that's the year. We're in the year of hope, the Jubilee year. Part of the idea is that there's like a whole thing of making pilgrimage to Rome, and you get an indulgence. There's other things about it, but we're going to talk about hope. And there's I guess it's called a bull. There's something from the Holy Father on the year of the Jubilee year of hope that you can get if you just search whatever Jubilee year of hope, spes non confundit.
Go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, search whatever.
It's at the Vatican website, but it's like the link is like 1 million letters.
Yeah.
Anyway, Father Angelus said that he's given a bunch of talks on this Jubilee year.
Already.
You guys had a year Jubilee last year. in St.
Yeah, so
Joseph's, didn't-
we used the term Jubilee last year to try to kind of claim and consecrate a time where we were just trying to kind of like move into a different way of living. And then it's beautiful then because then we came into at least there's been a lot of preparation. There's even a cartoon character for the year of Jubilee, which is kind of funny online.
Yeah.
But just it's been actually really quite fruitful and quite beautiful. Just especially doing some healing retreats and different things with our guys, just using this concept of the Jubilee. Jubilee is connected to Sabbath, the Sabbath day, Sabbath rest, kind of a new way of living, a new way of like experiencing reality, which is quite beautiful. I think it's popularized the scripture verse in Isaiah. As you said, the book of Leviticus kind of lays it out. I read a document, someone's commentary on Leviticus, pulling out some principles. If you want me to talk about those later, I can do that. But Isaiah 61 is where Isaiah talks about like when the Messiah comes, like the the poor, the good tidings preached to the poor, healing of the brokenhearted, the deaf will see I asked for a Bible earlier, but the recognition of like when Jesus came, he was the fulfillment of Isaiah 61. He's the one who said like, this is proclaimed or fulfilled in your hearing. And the last line of that is, and we will proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord. And that year acceptable to the Lord is the Jubilee year. And so there's something about the coming of the Messiah with a spirituality or like a movement of Jubilee, like life changes. And so there's beautiful the ram's horn. That's what they used when they crossed over. Talk about Joshua and Moses.
Hey.
Like when they went into Jericho, all the walls came. They used the ram's horn to proclaim a new way of living, a shift, and all the walls fell down. And then the idea of living a Jubilee year that year is they had to purify everything. They had to purify the people. They had to purify the land. And so one of the principles is that everybody gets to rest and play. And so even the land in a year of Jubilee, like there's no farming. The land rests the entire year. But that's because that's what they did. They had to like purify everything when they got in, when they came into the promised land. And so these points in times of history where the book of Leviticus, where the Jewish people get to live this particular way, it's really kind of an interruption in normal life that allows them to really rest and to stop. And you remember creation, you remember God coming to and creating us in a very particular way, restoring land, restoring relationships, restoring families. And it's really quite beautiful. And so I love it. It actually, I don't know how to say this most accurately. It starts January 1st, but I think the Pope's celebrating it Christmas Eve. There's something that is happening Christmas Eve where you like this, like the official year's starting. And so it'll kind of happen around Christmas time. But what would it mean? Like what we've been talking about our house and what I've been telling our guys, like what would it mean to live this year in a different way? and then the other, some of the principles that are laid out are kind of fun. I can go in those if you want me to, but anyway, just a little, like, it's a big deal actually, like historically, especially for the Jewish people. And I think pilgrimage, that, when the church kind of take that and made it about pilgrims, made it about like special consecrated time to come to Rome to be able to do particular things that kind of restored my heart, restored my life, is very beautiful. But I think the Old Testament kind of captures more in depth the beauty of the sacred time or the year acceptable to the Lord.
Yeah, I love hearing about Jubilee, and I was just laughing, excuse me, to myself, because I was like, oh yeah, Jubilee. I was trying in my mind to tie it together. Jubilee, jubilation. It's about joy. That's probably where the word comes from, even though you just literally read the term Jubilee comes from the name of an instrument.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. Thank you for paying attention.
I think it's a bit funny. It's like, Jubilee, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Ram's horn. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting.
Well, not what I really want to go to her. But just thank you for that, because even for myself, like, yeah, just even as a Catholic and even as a priest, like, oh yeah, Jubilee year. What does that mean? Oh no, I think we go to Rome, but looking at it as a reset or as like restorative from biblical terms, but even more so for like my life. I think there's a beautiful thing I could step into there, where this year that the church has set aside, specifically as a Jubilee year, it could look different for me. And I could start to make practical choices to, maybe just give a break to certain things that I exhaust, like you're talking about the soil. But just really looking at it as a reset and just inviting the Lord, how do I set my eyes or set my focus on the things you want me to set my eyes and focus on? Like coming out of this consecration from Our Lady, like, okay, Our Lady, like, bring me back to the home of Nazareth and then just simplify things for me. Just help me just look at this year differently, specifically this Jubilee year. And it is something where I think it's restorative, but the Lord is maybe calling us just to reset things at the beginning of the year, but maybe more so at the beginning of this Jubilee year, so that way it could set us off in this beautiful trajectory for the rest of our lives. I don't think it's a small thing to say that, but I do think the Lord has big plans for us if we allow ourselves to go there with Him.
Father, and just in a second, I'd love to hear more of just the
principles
of Jubilee.
Cool. Okay.
I will say I don't know if maybe the Jubilee year begins on Christmas, or
I think it's in the new year. I think there's something on Christmas Eve that is supposed to be connected to it. That's why I'm not speaking very clearly. But anyway,
just to say I didn't read January 1st anywhere.
Oh, okay.
So,
but it makes sense to the new year.
I could be completely wrong. This is interesting though. So it does happen every 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, totally.
It's supposed to be a big deal. So because this is new to me, and I don't really have a background in Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second, I guess maybe third technically, because there was an extraordinary year.
Oh, the extraordinary year.
So I'm new to this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all new to this, I think.
Well, actually, funny enough, you asked. Nobody asked, but I went. So in 2000 was Jubilee year. I do remember this. I went to Rome for Rosite, and so I walked through the doors.
You walked through the doors?
Yeah. And so I'm not going to say I'm an expert in Jubilee year,
But you have Jubilee.
but I have Jubilee. Yeah. I've done a little journey. I've done a little walking. You know what I'm saying?
I've Jubileed.
Yeah. And so
Jubileed.
yeah.
One way to get to Rome. So part of this idea is that there's a pilgrimage. A couple of things about pilgrimage. One of the things about pilgrimage is that if you were going to, at least traditionally, pilgrimage, you're going to take some time off of work to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time. But I heard it's possible. It's possible to get to Rome by going on a boat. We could do
that's true.
a Jubilee cruise.
Hey, don't play with my heart and my emotions, boy.
But we're not going to.
Okay. I'm gonna say, because I'm pulling out my calendar to look at future dates for the podcast, so I can just throw in there. Cool. Pilgrimage.
Boom. 2027 now.
That's not a Jubilee year.
Oh, sorry.
2050?
Just throw out Jubilee.
Yeah, let's plan for 2050.
2050? What about that?
Yeah, it'd be good.
Retirement cruise.
Senior cruise.
BYOWC.
Bring your own
Wheelchair.
I was gonna say washcloth. I was like, why? I hope those are provided for.
All right.
That's what happens in the morning.
Sorry, we're having fun today and in good moods, and I'm well rested. Tell us some more about a Jubilee.
Yeah. One of the things a couple of things that I think are fun to point out. I think back to our Lady's consecration, Sons in the Sun. I think we're really trying to. What if we were able to kind of consider this year as not just another fun thing to do, but like a breakthrough or a shift in our lives? I think scripturally that the Jewish people really like considered it as a shift and something new. Like we're putting something down and we're shifting. And so I think initially the Jubilee year was a physical reality. It was an exterior reality that people changed for the sake of the interior, right? And so just keeping those things together. So for example, there was a preparation for the Jubilee year. Like if you were the father of a house and you had slaves in the house, like when the Jubilee year was coming, you anticipated and prepared that the slaves were going to be freed. All the slaves were freed during the Jubilee. You can't have any slaves. So it's because one of the other things is everybody gets to go home. And so there's this big shift of the reality of, we have slaves here now, but now for the entire year, we're not going to have any slaves. And those slaves, we honor them and they get to go back to their families. And so I think again, we're going to try to make spiritual translations of these things, but like one of the gifts of my own experience of slavery to sin, what would it mean this year for the parts of me that are still enslaved to be set free? We use that language often on the podcast or like in what we talk about, but like, because you're like, okay, Father, that's great, but I don't have any slaves. We're like, okay, that's fair. But one of the gifts of like an interior, like assumption, if you will, like the assuming of this spirituality of Jubilee is like, whoa, there's parts of me that need to be set free. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Father, like what would it mean to take a step to slow down at the beginning of this year and like be really one of the gifts and graces or values of this year is I set the slaves free in my life. What parts of me are still enslaved? What parts of me are addicted? What parts of me are caught or stuck? And what would this year look like if I, like the father of the house would, welcome the slave, like call the slaves in and say, okay, tomorrow starts. The ram's horn is going to be announced or proclaimed. And we begin this year of Jubilee and you get to go home. It's like, whoa, it's like quite a powerful thing to think about. If those parts of me, and again, in the spiritual life, we always want to kind of be on that journey, but in particularly if this is a consecrated time, a special year to stop and take a step back. And oftentimes, right, when people go on pilgrimages, what are they doing? They have like a something in mind. Like, I want to do this for someone else. I want to do this. I'm sick or I'm struggling or I have a particular brokenness in my life and I'm going to go on the Camino to be able to give the Lord something in this way. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think how provocative and bold the spirituality is because like literally the slaves went home. No more slaves in the household for a year. And I think that certainly affects the way you live. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I think it's funny, as you began talking about Our Lady, I underlined a line from paragraph 24. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm sorry. I just
appreciate that I didn't know you were familiar with the document.
Is this too early to bring the document?
No, that's
in?
great. This is fun. This is this is the whole point. I gave it to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a document, a journey of hope, right? That I think accompanies this Jubilee year. That's where I'm stepping in it. But paragraph 24, and this says, hope finds its supreme witness in the Mother of God and the Blessed Virgin Mary. We see that hope is not naive optimism, but a gift of grace amid the realities of life, right? I love it because it just concretizes, it makes real, like we live life in reality, right? Mm-hmm. And if we're going to set slaves free, specifically if we are enslaved to particular things, it's going to be not some like pious, like making something up, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But no, like in the concreteness of my life, like how does God want to meet me there? Which Our Lady exemplifies for us. And it's a graced time, so it's not just my own effort, but I do need external help. I do need the Lord's in-breaking into my life. And once again, it happens every 25 years, but there is a real grace poured out, I think, from the church for us to begin to operate just in a different way. And a part of grace, like I don't know if this is your expression, if you work it, it works, or right?
It's not my expression, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, like if I desire to step into this grace, and I desire to have this a part of my life, I have to beg for it. I have to ask for it. But then I also can operate in this belief and this hope that it doesn't disappoint, and I can actually make these changes in my life with these particular sins. But I think it's a real thing to ask Our Lady, but more than ask Our Lady, just to trust that God provides for us, and God will provide for us by providing this year, and specifically by setting aside these things that we're enslaved to. By operating in this fashion of Jubilee. By, okay, Lord, this no longer has a part in my life because I desire to be free. I desire to be home and at home in you. And these little slaveries or these little things that come up don't allow me to experience the homeness that you desire for me to have in your heart. And so, and once again, Our Lady is the beautiful example of this, where it was always in the reality of her life that she experienced God's grace. It's always in the reality of, whether it's the crucifixion, as Pope Francis, I'm assuming, wrote this, as he said.
he did.
Okay, good. Just I have all the details, but it's in the reality of like the crucifixion and these things that are heavy and difficult, sure, external, but she's able to experience the grace of God and God being with her, and so. Just to note that, I saw that specifically, like, once again, coming out of the consecration and coming out of this time that we've set aside with Our Lady, if we've done the consecration, but even more so today, being January 1st, is a day for Our Lady. And the specific title that we celebrate today for Our Lady is
Mary, Mother of God.
Mary, Mother of God. Okay. But there's nothing with the church in there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's
sorry.
Mother of the Church, but it's another feast day.
Dang it.
Nice try to connect there. I like it.
But Mary, Mother of God, and and Jesus is God, and it's our brother, and so she's also our mother.
Did you want to? I got something to say, but do you
No, please.
I
I was just gonna please.
I'm kind of taking this whole thing to heart, meaning, so I think it's interesting. Like, yeah, there was a when sometimes God tells us to rest, and it's not like a, what's the word I want to use? It's not a recommendation. It's like a command. Like the Sabbath is like rest, worship. And the Jubilee year is something that God gave. That was, I think, a matter of law. Like, you had to do these things. It wasn't optional. And part of it, there's a sacrifice to it that you're not going to be working land, but also there's a gift to it of like, there's going to be this kind of time of rest and receptivity. and under it, I don't know all the whole history of it, but the forgiving of debts, there's a reset, a remembering, a receiving, and a trust. I'm going to make it very kind of personal is, again, the whole thing is kind of new to me. But I've been kind of doing a lot and being pretty busy with working, and particularly some of like the talks and the writing and stuff. And part of the dynamic of it is like, kind of the more you do, the more requests you get, it kind of like, I don't know, the only way I have to say it is like kind of popularity creates popularity. And certainly the Rosary Year thing is going to be a big thing. So it's going to have like, if I want to capitalize on whatever, now's the time to do it. And, but not in the sense of like, if you want to reach people, like you have like a growing audience, people are attentive. That's kind of how I see it. But I've been and most of the work though for that year is happening this year. Is I kind of felt like maybe like the Lord's invited me to like a year of Jubilee, like a year of rest. Okay, like we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna take a break. And you know what? Like in a sort of, according to like some human wisdom, it may seem like, you're not taking advantage of the natural things. But a year of Jubilee is something that God asks us to do. Like if this isn't just like a made up thing. This is something from the Lord. This is something from the church. There's an invitation here to a greater intensity of prayer and of hope, and I think the spirit of it is of rest and stepping back. And I think that might be a good thing to do.
It's a great concrete example of that. Yeah, to really, like, you're not going. It doesn't make a lot of sense to not do these things that are fruitful and on a human level, but like, hey, what's the Lord asking, and how to live it concretely, and how to, like, I think you've made that point, Father. Like, what's going to be different about it, and that's why, like, the documents and the scriptures connected to the Sabbath, like it's underneath like the Sabbath umbrella, which is a command from God. And this is the way I desire to live with you in relationship with you. And these are the graces I want to pour out on you, and The church is assuming we receive this and it changes the way we live until we need to be reminded again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just like, oh, this is kind of nice. You know, we get to do that.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Because even too, the whole idea of Sabbath, and I think the aspect of this too is like we could just keep working, right?
Right.
But it's good to have a day where we're just with the Lord, and we recognize that it's probably the most important day just to have rest, obviously to reconnect with the Lord, but more so we can't, we hopefully won't fall into the pitfall then. It's like, it's just totally me. Like I said, if it's 7 days of work, then where does the Lord enter into that, right? And so it's good to have a proper time to step away and just to be with him, you know, in the week, but even more so in the wisdom of the different years. And yeah, it's just intriguing to look at that and think about what that looks like.
Just that you guys had said a couple things, but just like the main principle, their second principle would be the forgiveness of debts. And so you said that. And so, you know, if your family or your land had a debt against someone else, or you think about these days, like countries, like we're in debt to another country, or like, and so during the year of Jubilee, like those debts would be forgiven. And which is also very bold. Like if you have like significant debt against another family and that they've been working for you, or you haven't paid, or they haven't paid you, like it's all forgiven. You know, we don't, as friars, we don't have like immediate feel of that. Like that we don't necessarily feel the reality of like, oh, our credit card debt is gone. Like imagine all your credit card debt and it's just gone. Or imagine like
student loans.
Yeah, your student loans, and all of a sudden it's just gone. You know, and again, we don't live in a world. Unfortunately, we won't live in a world like that where countries like one country has debt against another country, and that president stands up and says, "Okay, your debt's forgiven." Like there's no generosity like that anymore.
Crazy.
But this reality of the debts being forgiven is significant, and I think personally or interiorly, like this is where, you know, what if this year could be a year where you actually forgive the person that has hurt you? Or that you seek forgiveness in a difficult relationship, or you seek reconciliation in a difficult relationship, where there's debt between you. There's something off between you where, I haven't talked to my so-and-so, my friend, in 25 years because he hurt me or I hurt him. Like, and so it's like this is like the bold kind of action that a year like this like calls for, like a significant forgiveness of debt and forgiveness of and reconciling of relationships. You know, which is really, really powerful to think about. And I think all of us have those particular people, particular experiences. And I'm not belittling any sort of like, well, this hurt happened to me, but what does the Lord want to do about that memory, that experience, that place of hurt this year? Maybe it's not a full reconciliation because maybe that's not possible. I understand that. But what does the Lord want to do there in that space, you know? And so I think that's super powerful. And we talked about the land rest, but the other one, bro, you had mentioned as well, like this is where the father looks forward, like the father of the family and the mother of the family looks forward to, because all the kids come home. Like, and so if you're away, or if you're in the military, or if you're married, or you all come home for the year. And that's why it's this reconnection with your kids. It's reconnection with your family, which I think is wonderful. And this is the gift to consider here is, and we've talked a little bit about it before, but especially in our own hearts, if there's particular parts of us, or if there's particular parts of us that have been exiled or hurt or disconnected from us, that don't have a place in you talked about the home of my heart. Look at the home of the church, the home of my friary. Like if there's parts of us that aren't welcome because of sin, because of shame, because of addiction, because of these things, what would it mean? This is the boldness of this year. What would it mean for that like part of me where I committed this particular sin that I never thought about in a long time because it brings me so much shame? What if that part of me gets to come home? What if that memory gets to take in this year of Jubilee gets to be integrated into my life, and I can give the Lord the shame, and I can give the Lord these exile, these hurt, these disconnected parts of me that have been living in exile and living like in another land, if you will. It's the special time that is like, whoa, that means like, okay, what would the interior healing work look like this year? Where I can start to like face, there's things in my life I haven't thought about, I haven't looked at it because I don't want to. Year of Jubilee. What does that mean to start doing some of that work, getting the help I need? Maybe I need to go to counseling. Maybe I get to experience deeper things in my life that could help me bring these hurt parts of me back. So just really, really beautiful. And those are like probably the four main, and I'm sure there's more.
Can you just say the four what they are
Yeah. So
specifically.
number 1 are slaves are set free. Number 2, debts are forgiven. Number 3, everybody gets to rest and play. And number 4, everybody gets to come home. Like, so the family comes home.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Just as a screaming of the prodigal son.
No, exactly. Like an image of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, like the slaves go home, I come home, hey, I'm a slave. No, you're not. You're my son, you know. Also debt forgiven. He probably thinks I have to work just to earn my keep with my father because all these different things. Come home, rest and play. We're just going to party. We're going to celebrate you.
Totally.
And so anyway, just wanted to point that out where I think
Yeah, that's great.
it's a restorative image of who we are in the eyes of the Father, and he wants this to happen, right? He's been sitting on the doorstep and
Waiting.
and every 25 years, however long this comes, it's just one of those things where like, okay, cool. Like I just imagine him just like rubbing his hands together, like people are coming home today, you know, and just the excitement with his heart to receive us as we come, and I think it's and he just once again lovingly says to us, like, everything I have is yours, you know, and to step into this reality that, okay, yeah, you're still holding that as far as a debt against yourself, but I've forgiven it. And so we can stop looking at that right now. Or, hey, you're not a servant, you're my son, you're my daughter. Just come home, I love you. Or I just want to spend time with you, you know, and let's throw this party
Totally.
and let's just be together. And even if we've kind of been home as an older brother and we start looking at others and saying like, that's not fair. It's like, once again, everything I have is yours, and just rejoice with me, you know, at the new life of your brother. And so even the debt that we hold against somebody else can be forgiven, and as we give it to the Lord. And so that just resonated with me as far as those 4 things. But it's, I think, a new way for us to just approach the Father, approach his mercy for us, his love for us, and to really live in that space.
Just a last thought. I think Jesus is the fulfillment of all these Old Testament things. So like, what do we say about Jesus? He's the new Exodus. He's the new Moses. He's like all these new things. And so what is the heart of Jesus, or the person of Jesus mean as like, he is the Jubilee, right? And again, in the gospel, like he says, this is fulfilled in your hearing. And so it's like, if it all seems like, oh, that's amazing, but it's a little abstract, like the way this is how Jesus lives. This is like what the revelation of his heart, the revelation of his gaze, the revelation of his love, his relationship with the Father. And that's why I want to be careful, like and the church kind of makes it seem this way, but it's like an event. It seems like an event, which is great. But the event creates a posture, a spirituality, a grace to live in, and not to like, I want to live this way. And I need an interruption in my like this announcement, or like this, like, hey, this is a special year. To be able to like receive the reality of like, it's not a cool tool. It's not a cool, like, oh, that's a spirituality, or that's like a cool grace or whatever. But it's like, no, like, I think this is Jesus's heart, and this is how he lives with his Father. So anyway.
Do you have something else?
I mean, I was just saying, I appreciate that, because I think, it's something where I've spoken to people once again, even for hours, like, hey, you going to the Jubilee? Like, you're going to go to Rome, this and that. And it could become very easily this event of, oh yeah, like, let me plan my trip to Rome and let me take some pilgrims, and not to belittle that. Like, it's an actual thing to go.
There's a lot of grace
pilgrimage,
there.
you know, like, I'm not saying that don't do that. But for me, like, my heart was like, it's just about that. Like, it's just about the cool trip to Rome, to have some pasta in Rome, and like, hey, cool, walk through the doors, got it, you know, and just take the pictures. It has to be more than that. The church doesn't call us every 25 years to walk through doors. I think there's more there for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so, and this is beautiful. Like, I mean, once again, maybe not as new at this as Father Mark Mary as far as Jubilee year, because I did walk through doors, just saying that. St. Peter's Basilica, not just doors. But there is, like, I think, this beautiful way of living and actually making this my own, and stepping into, like, looking with Mother Church at this in a different way. I think it's a beautiful way for us to live and approach this in a new way.
A cool God thing that I'm enjoying is is like, I had no idea that Father Angelos is like, or like, you know, local Jubilee expert.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I decided this and had a whole different idea of what we were gonna go. I just learned about it.
We were supposed to talk about hope.
But it,
I did my job.
You did, dude.
And so, I found that out with everybody else today. But what's also kind of cool about it, right, is like when the decision was made that we would be the three who'd be here and that Father Angelos would be here. We didn't know we were going to do this. It wasn't Father Angelos was like,
oh yeah, can we talk about this?
can we talk about the Jubilee year? And I'm going to kick off Father Anderson. I mean, I'm going to
vote him off the island.
But it's cool because if we would have gone a different route with out Father Angelos, we wouldn't have had our Jubilee expert.
Nope. We would have been bumbling and talking about Jubilee in awkward ways, and would have been all 1300. The origins of the Catholic tradition. No, we stop.
All right, jubilation. By the way, I think the whole jubilation thing could still be true. They both go to the same word.
Yeah,
I just remember having that same experience. Oh, this has got to mean something cool.
Right.
I mean, the Rams army is a cool idea. Yeah. I like it's connected to Jericho and the walls falling down too.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that you read it minutes before, and I was thinking like it's totally a different word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're talking about is free, like letting the slaves go free. Would you call it rest? Like don't work the land? It's kind of like a rest, but like a rest in hope and trust.
Yeah.
Forgiveness of debts. Go home. I think the invitation to me here, at least in the beginning, is nothing new. I think I should gotta sit with that. And by sit with that, I mean do that. That feels great.
Yeah.
This turned out so good.
No, I mean, once again, it's beautiful just because, like, for me, it's I wouldn't say perspective shift, but it does definitely change my mind on this year. Because people ask us all the time because they think we know. And we're supposed to know, be informed about these things. Like, hey, what's this Jubilee year about? Well, now, first of all, I could say, hey, call Father Angelos. The vocation line, he has nothing to do. And so you can ask him, right? But like seriously though, this gives like more of a, okay, I could enter this year with a purpose and just have a little more of a game plan and invite the Lord into dialoguing with me and how he wants to journey through this Jubilee year. I feel a lot more prepared.
I was at recently at a focus gathering and I gave a little talk on this, relating it to rest and Sabbath, but it was like very concrete for them because and our focus missionaries that are listening, I love you a lot, and I think CFR life and focus missionary life are very similar. So we all need to kind of relax and rest because I think we all are overwork and perform and do a lot, and we're all kind of like good at what we do, if you will. So, but someone asked like, hey, so then how does this practically like move into my life? You know, like what does it look like? And I said this like bold thing. I was like, well, I think you need to plan half days. And like the room erupted. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, if we're actually going to rest this year, and right, like to your point, you're like, hey, what if this year looked different? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna know that I need to get the work done I need to do. But like, what if I had like at least a few hours, but like some point in the day to do something different and like interrupt my normal workflow or my like. So again, we were just going back and forth, but unless you have kind of like bold, if you want to, what if we could be bold this year? And say, well, it's actually not about the ministry. It's not about the production of like results. Like how many people are you reaching with your books and your podcasts and stuff like that? But it actually would be like, okay, every day I'm going to take like a Jubilee time, meaning 2 or 3 hours where I'm going to read the stuff I've never been able to read. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to exercise, whatever it is that could just be different, you know, but I love kind of ruffling feathers of people who like work really well. Like they work really intensely, but if we're going to be different, we got to be different. So what are you going to do? I gave it like a technology fast. You got you divide up your day in 3 parts. 1 part of those days, which is a 5-hour period, you shouldn't have to be connected to technology at all. From erupts. Disconnected. Being closer to people in your reality, in your world, being closer to the Lord without like scrolling and connecting and listening and moving and like, no, 5 hours of like stillness, not necessarily not with other people, but like.
I think it's a great example of going home. Mm-hmm. Like I've been, if you will, spend a lot of time in this foreign space, this other space, this like the internet space. I'm just going to, for the year, be present to the people I'm with.
Yeah.
Or you do the 5-hour thing.
Yeah.
No, and like that excites me. And like, I don't know these people, right?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, if I'm just thinking like, okay, if one of my teens said, hey, Father BT, I was thinking about just taking 5 hours away from my cell phone, even like it's an hour away.
Yeah, totally.
Like that excites, like I'm excited about the possibility of you like encountering something different. but I'm human. How much more does the Father like honor that? You know what I mean? Like, my daughter, like, look, hey, Jesus, Holy Spirit. I mean, anyway, it's a funny thing, but like, check this out. Like, this is awesome. And how they're creating time for me, and how much more will the Father bless us for that? And how much more will he pour more of his heart and just be like, okay, like, let's, sit down at the table. Let's talk. Like, what do you need? And so, because now there's a spaces open up for us to actually dialogue and us actually to have eyes to receive, like, oh my gosh, I never noticed that, because I'm creating space to see of what more the Lord is doing in my life. And so,
How quick we are to be like, no, I can't do that.
right.
I need my phone.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But really? Do you really need your phone? Do you really need, like, as a student, well, Father, I need my laptop. I'm like, okay, but you need your laptop all day? Because you're so quick to make an excuse. But if this is consecrated time and we're supposed to be bold with the Lord because he's bold with us, like, what are we willing to do to create space to have our hearts rest and our hearts play, our hearts reconnect, and then, because if you want to go do that interior stuff, there's got to be space and there's got to be room. If there's the interior the debt's being forgiven, if there's the reconnections, the reconciliations, whatever it is, you got to have space, and that's why the Lord needs it. Everybody stops.
Yeah. And anyway, I just don't think he wants things to be the same, like for us to fall into the same pitfalls, or for us to just to pretend like it's business as usual.
Totally.
Which is, once again, this Jubilee year. Anyway, this is how my mind works, but I was thinking like a sports team, right? Like, if you fall short of the championship, you're not just gonna be like, meh, we'll just run it back the same way next year. Like, you're gonna make internal changes. You're gonna, hey, we'll look at the tape. These are the things we need to do better. And if we're in last place, or if we're in second to, we lost the championship in the game, the changes could be different. But once again, it has to be an honest assessment with the Lord, as far as like, okay, Lord, like, I want to be closer to you. And so what does it look like? So yeah, it's great. Anyway, I was going to use it.
We got some talking to do about this. Mm-hmm. This is new to me. Yeah, this is very interesting. It's very interesting. Because at least right, we're balanced. Like, I don't think, because we have to be, it's not the exact same as the old. So totally. I'm not trying to make it's not the exact same as the Old Testament sort of situation. For some of our people, I think it's realistic to say that, like, they might have to work 9 to 5, and that's
totally.
But there's something, like, for me, like, again, like, we still, in a certain sense, we still have like some responsibilities and things we're gonna have to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like at the very beginning, there's certain things that are within my control. So like, okay, I'm not going to take on another new project.
Yep.
Right. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to not be faithful to my state of life as like a servant of a house, things like that. Right.
Yeah. I'm going to say no to every preaching request or every mass out. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like, okay. Yeah. But I do think, being bold with it, particularly with like, what does this look like? I love the idea of the media thing, and it's as a way of practicing going home. Mm-hmm. I love that. By the way, I had maybe you guys know that I had this started 3.5 years ago. We commissioned a different image of the prodigal son that we'll talk about eventually on here.
I just found this out yesterday.
From who?
I'm not going to say.
Anyway, yeah. So we got that. So we're getting prints made. So it might start soon, or it might start a little bit later, but we're going to do that, which is cool to look at it from this perspective.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Awesome.
Interesting.
I mean, I could talk about this more, but I think we're at time now.
Yeah. So the Jubilee year happens once every 25 years. For a lot of people listening to this is their first time being old enough to do anything about it. Either because you weren't born, or because you didn't really know anything 25 years ago. Or maybe you're a wonder kid like Father PT, and this is your second time around.
Second experience of it.
6'2", perfect height.
If you all right. There's a song about that, 6'2" by Marie Miller. Listen to the song; it's very funny. She married a man who's 6'4". Because God is just so generous. Anyway, what were we saying?
So you're trying to tie it all together. Yeah,
it's important. It happens once every 25 years. Mm-hmm. So let's do something about it. The 4 categories is freedom. They would let their slaves go free. What does that look like? They would rest from working the land. They'd give the land time to work. And I think personally, like the land of my own body and soul, forgiveness of debts, going home.
Sweet.
I like it.
Somebody make a
Jubilee boy.
No, Jubilee boy. That's not what I meant. I mean, we gotta
sorry.
you gotta have like a ram's horn noise.
Oh, what's
No, we
that?
have a ram's horn over there.
Well,
Pretend
all
Hey, this is
Actually, when
2024
the
ram's
cardinal
horn.
gave us gifts,
Yeah.
there's a ram's horn in it.
Shut up.
Is that really?
No
Shut up.
joke. No
real
joke,
ram's horn?
And it makes sounds.
Well, you can wait. Go get it. Go get it. We can wait 3 minutes. We can wait 3 minutes for the ram's horn. Come on. Yeah, we can.
Next time. Next time.
We'll pause and
No,
cut
I
it.
don't know if it
We'll
actually
pause and
works.
cut
It looked like it works.
Go
but-
get it.
No,
Go
get out of here.
Go get it. Where is it? I'll go get it. What do you mean? No.
I'm standing up for you, bro. No, we're not doing this.
Hey,
This is
We have a ram's horn on the year of mercy.
Yeah.
60 seconds away. We're not going to use it.
He's not your little sideshow boy.
I said I'll go get it. I'll go get.
I don't know where it went. We might have got written all the stuff.
No,
We
I
could-
don't know where. Okay.
Are you gonna blow it?
I'll try. I guess not.
Next time.
Hey, everyone! I tried. These guys said no. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's
should-
crazy.
anyway.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Jesus, we love you and we praise you. Thank you for the gift of this Jubilee year. Thank you for the grace you're giving us to come back home, to be set free, and to enjoy rest with you and with those around us. Just give us grace and boldness, Lord, to let this year not be like last year. Create a space to do something new and something beautiful for you. And we pray this all, Jesus, in your name. Amen.
Amen.
He's really worked up about the Jubilee hour.
I cannot believe you're not getting it. That seems like the most reasonable thing in the entire world.
Are we gonna talk about Jubilee again this year?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think we have to.
If we have
We just said it's a big deal.
yeah.
We just said it's a big deal. We can
So
talk more about it.
maybe with future planning,
We
a
could work
horn
out
can be
these
brought.
episodes.
Yeah, because it would be stupid to do it on the very first day,
Wow.
the most important day.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Thanks.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Shout out to all Jubilarians.
Poco a poco vamos a llegar. Somos peregrinos, and you know that's who we are. We make our way. Hey, hey. Little by little, we learn a little more each day that God is love, that life is short, that all will be well. And I know